Hey, how we doing, everybody? Zach Klein here on the Inner Circle Podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please like, subscribe, tell a friend. We appreciate your time. A great episode for you today. AD with some very strong opinions on what went down between Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey. Matt dives into the Philadelphia Eagles losing their all-everything right tackle, Lane Johnson, how that affects the team. And he actually will rank the importance of all the positions on the offensive line for you. Todd dives into the contract situation with the fines and the possible appeals. But we begin with our man, our legend, Aaron Donald, being honored, recognized at his alma mater, Pittsburgh, going on ESPN's College GameDay, taking off his shirt. And he also lets us know that he was only recruited, had offers from just 3 schools. What are those schools? Hope you enjoy this episode of the Inner Circle Podcast.
Do you want to see what we were going to do for you today?
What was
Matt,
that?
Zach and I. Come on, guys. Let's go. I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah, I don't do Nobody needs that. Nobody needs that.
Yeah, no. I mean, our workouts are good, but we don't need to do that.
You look good, AD. I mean, walk us through, man. You were having fun, styling, profiling, the shades on. This is at the end. What was it like?
It was good, man. Had some fun, obviously. Be up there with College GameDay and talking ball, having some fun with Pat. I enjoyed it, man. It was a special day for me, and even better to be able to be a part of the show, man, and flex a little bit, show the body, and have some fun, man. We had a lot of fun doing this.
Hey, was this pre-planned? Did you guys talk about this before, or was it pure reaction when you saw it?
So he told me he was going to take his shirt off, and I was like, hey, shit, I'm always down to take my shirt off, so don't tip me with a good time. But I did tell him if he would to pick Notre Dame, I was going to throw his ass off the stage. And I thought he was going to go, and then I said, what? That's my guy, man. We had fun, man. It was all fun. A lot of love for them guys. Definitely Pat, Pittsburgh guy himself. So even though he went to West V, he's still my guy, man. So we had some fun. It was a lot of fun,
I love
man.
Saban's reaction. Saban was like, he was all fired up. Did you get the chance to talk to Coach at all?
Yeah, that was my first time meeting Coach Saban, man. So I was like, I'm honored to meet you. It was super dope to meet him, man. Obviously, I knew a couple of the guys already up there, but I think Pitt pulled, they definitely rolled the red carpet out for me, man. Showed a lot of love. I felt all the love in the building as soon as I walked in, man. It was a special day. Obviously, my family, my friends, my loved ones being there. Getting to spend that, join that, experience that with my kids. I didn't think I was gonna get emotional, but once I seen that banner fall, man, eyes start watering a little bit, but. I just took it all in, man, just obviously thinking about the journey to get to that, right? So it was special. It was for sure special, man. I enjoyed every moment of it. Even though it was overwhelming, it was a lot going this way, that way, but I enjoyed it. I definitely did, man. The Pitt did it the right way for me, man, so I appreciate them.
When you were coming out of high school, and you obviously picked Pitt, and I know you were from there, but were you considering anywhere else? Was that all you had? And what made you choose Pitt at the time?
So the only offers I had was Pitt, Toledo, and Akron. So the reason why a lot of schools didn't want me because they said I wasn't the biggest guy. They didn't think I was going to be able to transition what I did in high school to the college level because of my size. But it take one school to give you an opportunity. Obviously, Pitt was that school for me, man, and I took it and ran with it, right? And the rest was history.
What would I always think this, on nights like that where it's really like a lifetime achievement award when your jersey goes into the rafters, at 14 or 15, and the vision that you have for your life. What would your 14 or 15-year-old self said as you see that kind of going up in there next to a Dan Marino or Tony Dorsett and some of the legends that are there?
And the crazy thing, Dan Marino called me earlier that morning to congratulate me. So I'm like, oh, this is dope. But I never dreamed that big, bro. I think I had dreams and aspirations to do some cool stuff and accomplish some great things, obviously trying to be an All-American. But I never dreamed I want to go to college, dominate the game, and get my jersey retired. That wasn't on my bucket list to do. But on the verge of just working my ass off and, being consistent and doing what I need to do to just become a, top-tier guy, man. Hard work, a lot of hard work, and it just paid off big for me, man, because there was a lot of doubt. There's a lot of people saying, I don't think you can do this because you ain't the biggest guy. I don't think this. From high school to college, even my transition to get to the pros, the same type of stuff. So see everything come full circle, man, and, to be done with the game and still reaping the benefits of what I did years ago, it's one hell of a feeling, man. It really is. It really is.
I can tell you this, you guys, recruiting Aaron Donald out of college, and I know I've mentioned it before, he is the exact same guy today, except he's just a little more talkative. He laughs. Every time I get done talking to him, I'm like, I think I should do stand-up. I literally think I can do it. I know I can do it. See, here he is laughing. He always is laughing.
Feel good about yourself.
He always makes me feel good. Always does. I actually went and saw Nate Bargatze the other day. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but the comedian, it was at State Farm. He was unbelievable. I was like, I can compete with him. Based on Aaron Donald's reactions.
You can't.
No, I can.
I'm going to be your other friend here. I'm going to be the guy who makes you feel shitty about yourself.
No, that's fine. That's
most
fair.
of the time. Right? AD can serve that role. I'll serve the other. Bring you back down to earth.
Make me feel shitty working out, ripping
Yeah, that's right.
No, but,
that's right.
But AD is literally the same person. And I think that's tremendous. And it speaks to his character because there's a lot of guys that have had a lot of success and make tons of money and a lot of fame and they change. He has been the exact same person, and you would not know that he is achieved what he's achieved. And so, like, watching that go down and just seeing you there, and it's awesome from my standpoint, just from me being involved with your life as obviously a friend, but also from a business standpoint. Mm-hmm. I mean, I literally remember walking out of your apartment, and you were wearing flip-flops with socks, and walking down the elevator. And
fashion faux pas, man. It was fashion faux pas.
It was bad. I sat in
and that hot ass with them hot ass lights beaming on you.
I sat in his apartment, and like how when you're in an apartment, you have those like the little kitchen that has a little miniature bar with like 2 stools. That was like facing the kitchen. Well, I turned that around because that was where the den was, where like the family and everyone was, and above it was like those spotlights, and it was like beaming on me, and it was so hot. And when I talk, I get passionate, and I'm doing this thing. Of course, I'm telling jokes. AD's laughing. I think I'm killing it. But we're doing this whole thing. Yes. And I remember walking out with Aaron down the hallway and then down the elevator. I was like, I felt like I was on a spotlight. I felt like I was on trial in there. Like everyone was like looking at me, but it went great. And obviously, watching his whole career has been unbelievable. Seeing you recognized for it is awesome, and it's amazing to see, and it's so well deserved. And I love the fact that you are just the exact same person as you always have been.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
AD, I was going to say, so not only a great day for you and the family to see it, go into the rafters, you were really good on game day. And so I'm curious, like, yeah, you did. You were great on there, very natural, had fun with it. And I thought, did an excellent job in that spot. I'm curious, does it give you any itch? Does it give you any itch to maybe do some of that work? We've got this podcast going, but do any of that work in the media space? Because I think you'd be very good.
If you would have asked me that 3 to 4 years ago, I would have said, hell no. But obviously, I've been thinking about it. Obviously, Todd know this. Having some conversations, doing College Game Day and being up there. I was like, oh, I think I got a little itch to do this. I think I can see it. I look good on TV. This face is made for TV, man. It's made for TV, man.
90% visual. It's a 90% visual medium.
So if the right opportunity comes, if it presents itself, for sure, I'm open to it. 2026, we got a lot of big things coming. So hopefully, man, you might see me. Never know. We're gonna see.
How close are you to swearing? Is that the hardest part of this potential TV gig?
Nah, I wasn't gonna swear. It's different on a pod because we ain't.
I was gonna say though, on game day, I see all these guys swearing.
You ever come close on CBS, Matt? Because that's different.
So I don't think that works on our end. I'm pretty professional when it comes to the language we have on there, and we still have a ton of fun doing it. But no, never been close to dropping an.
That's awesome that you're professional on CBS, but you're not professional on this. Great, appreciate that. That's awesome. Good.
Well, I feel like it's really professional. It's a different venue.
Good.
For sure.
It's a different venue.
Yeah.
Everybody that's a fan of the NFL has heard me drop an F-bomb before with all of the mic'd up stuff that we've had. So it wouldn't be the first time. I am very professional when it's time to do it on CBS and have so much respect for everybody there that I wouldn't do that. But I think, Zach, the world has changed so much in that space, though, too. You can get away with a lot more now than you could 10 years ago. And I think there's a handful of things that just can't come out of your mouth. And
it depends what you say, right? It depends what you say. Right. You can't be on that motherfucker saying fuck, bitch, shit like that.
You can't do that. No, you can't do exactly what you just. Yeah, you can't do that. That's right.
That's why you will always have a home here on the Inner Circle podcast, AD, because you can say that shit right here. All right, so stay with the fam.
This is my safe place. My safe place.
It is.
You're in the trust, the circle of trust, the trust tree.
Circle of trust. You would think, gentlemen, that the football field would also be a safe haven. It's physical. You guys talk your shit. You have fun. But I think we all have agreed that when you spit in another man's face, you cross that line. So Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase, man, suspended a game for spitting in Jalen Ramsey's face. This is Ramsey after the game. I'm already nominating this for the short post-game soundbite of the year. This is it. Short and to the point. Jalen Ramsey. Here we go.
You spit on me, so it's up. I don't give a fuck about football after that. Respectfully.
That's my dog. No, but I feel him. Like, I think there's a line of before, like, football, talking shit, bumping, hitting, being physical, that's normal. You cross the line. He didn't just spit. It was like a loogie. It was like, that's the ultimate disrespect. That's like, I understand as a, you know, you be like, I'm a leader. You expect your guys to do things a certain type of way, but you know, a person speed on anybody. Like, I don't care about none of that. It's a respect factor. Like, I think he did good. Because if it was me, that guy spit on like that, I don't know how y'all could be able to get me off his neck. I would have been choking his ass. You know what I'm saying? Because that's like ultimate disrespect, man. So I'm all for the talking shit, the bumping after the play, all that. That's football. But you turn and just loogie it. Nah, I can't get with that, man, at all.
No, I mean, there's just no place for it. There really isn't. And you know, I'm with AD. I think there are justified reactions to things like that. And, you know, you saw the 1-game suspension immediately come. That precedent already set, although we had that discussion early in the year with Jalen Carter where that happened prior to the game.
It wasn't a loogie, though. It was like he spit at the ground. I feel like that was and that shit, hell no, man.
I just think
I hope the sound effects are coming out.
Yeah,
Those are great.
I think they are coming through. Todd, you're a sound effect guy. Go ahead. You did the horses galloping.
Just because I did the horses that one time? Yeah.
Just a little hawk Tua, huh? Okay.
I can't do the spitting sound effect. I'll leave that to AD. He seems to be covering it really well.
There's no place for it, though. And I think that the league is clear about it. When we're recording this on Tuesday, I know he'll probably appeal this suspension, but that one is not going anywhere.
How do you appeal this?
I was just about to ask Todd, what you going to appeal? What you going to get back for that?
You know,
video's there.
I don't want to speak for him or their team or whatever, but I understand, you know, there's always two sides to a story, and the video might show one thing, but and I'm not justifying anything, obviously, but you know, who knows what their angle is going to be or what they'll say. But obviously, they feel it could be they feel the amount is wrong. They could feel that why it happened is wrong. You just don't know what their angle is going to be. But you know, clearly they want to attempt to do something to change it. So I'm not real sure of all the specifics.
Well, specifically, he's lost a game check. If it does go through, $448,000 and change, and a $58,823 per game active bonus that he's now forfeiting. I mean, I've heard of, you know, preseason bonuses, workout bonuses, touchdown bonuses, Todd, but what's a per game active bonus?
Yeah, so it's just another mechanism that these teams try to put in the contracts. As an agent, I mean, ideally you prefer your salary to be in your money to all be in your salary because you're going to get it whether you're playing or whether you're hurt or not. But teams will carve out a portion, let's just say for even math, you know, $50,000 a game, you know, times whatever it is, X amount. You have a $500,000 in per game active roster bonuses, which means playing. So if he hurt his hamstring and missed 3 games, you're losing out on 50 times 3 games, you know, losing out on $150,000. It's just another way for a team to not automatically give you that money, but yet when they sell the package to the agent or they sell the package to the player, and then in turn it's sold to the media, it looks like a bigger number. But those dollars are truly at risk, not for just, you know, this situation, but they're at risk for an ankle sprain. They're at risk for, you know, a hammy. They're at risk for your wife's giving birth and you can't be there for the game. You're going to lose money. So teams would rather have that extra layer of protection as opposed to all in your salary where you automatically get it. So it's something we try to fight as an agent, but, you know, sometimes depending on different contracts and agents and philosophies and situations, you know, they're in there, but that's how they are.
I don't know if you guys saw the game in Madrid, Spain, between the Dolphins and Commanders. It was played, and we're showing video right now on YouTube. So if you're listening on the audio version, please check us out on YouTube and always like and subscribe and tell your friends. You know, this is the
incredible.
Same field. Yeah, Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid use. But the difference between this and what the NFL guys, they made it to withstand, obviously, the big bodies in the National Football League. It's a hybrid ryegrass surface, and it's stored under the stadium ground. And when it goes underneath, they got UV growth lights. It's humidity, temperature controlled. I'm going to fast forward to the end of the video, and you can see, guys, underneath what it looks like. So there's the infrared underneath the stadium. Obviously, it costs a shitload of money. I don't know how much it costs. But
yeah, for Matt and AD, how much?
I'll tell you what it costs to put turf in the backyard of your house. So I can imagine what that is. Probably pretty expensive.
Did you guys feel a difference on Mondays after playing on Sundays on grass versus turf?
I did 100%. I would say this. When I came in the league young, I used to love playing on turf because I felt like I ran faster. That was when I was younger, though. And all the older guys used to be like, damn, my knees hurt. I'm like, man, we all old as hell. Stop. As I got older in the league and I started playing on that damn turf and repaired to the grass the day after the game, like if I play on turf, my knees gonna be hurting after the game, my toes, my whole body just feel beat up. So as I got older, I stopped becoming a fan of the turf and was like, I would have loved to play on grass, a lot softer surface, better for your body. You still gonna have your aches and pains, but it's just for me, I had a lot of like knee and toe problems. Like that turf used to like beat my body up to like a pulp, man. I know a lot of people dislike the turf and want the grass. I prefer the grass too. I know it's a lot more maintenance and things to take care of it in that space, but I think it's kind of like time to go back to the grass space, man, with this football stuff. I think it'd be a lot better for these guys with injuries as well, too.
I mean, my preference was always grass as well. And I think, this isn't science-backed or anything like that, but just, anecdotal that I felt better after I played on grass. And I think,
yes.
AD, it's even to the point, like, I used to remember, forget even playing, but, like, you'd be standing there in the preseason games not playing, and when you were on turf, it was amazing how sore you would get just standing there watching the games on the turf.
I felt more sore standing there than playing.
100%. I always felt worse in preseason games standing there on the turf just watching than I did actually playing. At least when you're flying around, you got, adrenaline and all of that stuff going. But for sure, I do feel like, and maybe it's placebo, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'd have to see the science and the numbers on all of that stuff. But I certainly felt better the day after games when I played on grass.
As a Philly guy, did you ever go to the old vet and see the AstroTurf they had there?
Yeah, I played on that. I played, I played in a thing called the Carpenter Cup in high school, which is like an all-star baseball series that they have. There's like a Catholic league, public league, and then the Interact League, which I played in. And they have kind of a round-robin tournament that like the all-stars from each of these leagues play. So I played in the Carpenter Cup at the vet. It was a great surface to field ground balls off of because it was true. The hops were true. It was fast, but there was no bad hops or anything when you were playing the infield. So played on there. But again, I was 17 years old, 18 years old at the time. You feel good on anything. Like AD was saying, you're laughing at these old guys who are saying they were sore. When I first got to Boston College, this is how old I am. BC still had AstroTurf my freshman year at BC. And I remember playing on it. We switched to like the field turf my second year at BC, but we had AstroTurf my first year. And I remember playing in the spring game my freshman year where it was still AstroTurf. I took off, I was running, and I did like I slid on my left leg, and I didn't have long socks on. I kid you not, the whole left side of my shin gone. The skin just like gone. The worst turf burn you've ever seen. Still have like patchy, like white, like skin underneath the hair on my legs on my left side that like never really came back. So that old turf.
Not wear sweats to work out when we work out.
Okay, my bad. I'll wear shorts tomorrow. My bad.
Right, I'm going to check out the scarf.
Not embarrassed of my legs, but.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That turf, that old turf was no joke.
The field turf versus grass, do you end up more banged up or from like what you're talking about being scratched and bleeding and that type of stuff, one surface versus the other?
Yeah, I feel like that. AD, I don't know if it happened as much for a D lineman, but like I used to have like on my left side, I mean, Zach will probably remember, but like a lot of times mid game, I would go from wearing like the half sleeve to this full sleeve on my left side because my elbows would just get torn to pieces on the field turf. And that just never really happened on grass.
Yeah.
Moving on now, and this is a story, non-story, Shedeur Sanders. Todd, you were at this game, right? You went to the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens game. So you got to see Shedeur Sanders. I want to get your take on that. Not Shedeur, but just the game in general a little bit. The third quarter, Dylan Gabriel goes down, guys, with a concussion. Shedeur comes in, thrusts into action, and he goes 4-16 for 47 yards and interception. Got a huge ovation, fired up the crowd. But then after the game, Kevin Stefanski confirmed that in the second half, it was Shedeur Sanders' first snaps with the starting offense since he was drafted by the Browns. And Twitter, X, whatever platform you're on, just loses their mind. He's not ready, yada, 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 yada. Matt, can you walk us through a real practice week and how many times is the starting quarterback of an NFL team, a third or fourth stringer, would see the field with the number ones?
Zero. That's exactly correct. If I was healthy, our backup did not take a rep during the week. And I feel like maybe in the past, 15, 20 years ago, when practices were a lot longer and there were a lot more reps in practice, maybe that would have been a different scenario. But when I was in the NFL, we had longer practices under Mike Smith, but I was a young player. And so every week that I was available and ready to go, I needed every rep I could get. Mm-hmm. And then, you develop your routine that way where I'm taking everything because I just need them. And then, incrementally, as I played longer and longer in the league, the practice got shorter and the number of reps that you would get got shorter. And so there was there was no chance somebody was getting reps if I was playing that week. There was no opportunity for that because practices aren't long enough. So,
Yeah, exactly.
as outraged as people might be, this is common practice across the league. And I think, AD, you could probably speak to it. Of all the practices you watch, that starter's not coming out. Unless you got something going on, you're nicked up, you're taking every rep.
For sure. Definitely, you got to think, most of the time it's 25, probably 30-something snaps you got through the whole practice. The starters need all them reps. Your backup quarterback is going to be more likely on the scout team, being a scout team quarterback. That's where he's getting his reps up. But he's throwing to the practice squad players and things, giving the defense a look. He's still getting his work, but he's not going to be working with the ones and getting no first team snaps because your starter need all them snaps. He's going to be the one out there playing. You only get so many snaps every single practice. Them most important snaps that you need. Get everybody on the same page because he's going to be the one playing the game. And typically, your backup guys, just the scout team quarterback, giving the defense a look. So obviously, from a timing standpoint and not having an opportunity to work with your starting wide receivers, from a timing standpoint of where he's throwing it to and how he's throwing the ball is different than what they used to. So it's a process. Fans in the world don't understand that, but people that's inside that space, that was inside that space and did this, understand like that's normal, right? People like, oh, he should have been getting some snaps to be prepared. But definitely when you talk about Dylan, he's a rookie quarterback and they need every snap he got too. So you can't afford to be trying to split the snaps when you got your guys. So it is what it is. That's just
I would go so far as to say too, like, the other thing you got to think about in these types of situations, and it's boring, but is like the quarterback center exchange, because every center is a little bit different. Every quarterback's a little bit different. And, we would go so far as, they weren't going to get reps in practice, but every team does it. At the beginning of practice, you do just quarterback center exchange where, you're going through the cadence and you're hearing a play and you're just getting snaps. You're going through, going on one, going on two, going on hard through, whatever your cadences are, but you're just kind of getting going and you do that. And that was the only time I took snaps with our back. I never did it with our starter in practice. It was always with the backup and whoever was going to be our emergency 3 center. But that was where I got reps of getting snaps with them. So I'm probably sure Shedur's probably only snaps under center with that guy too, were maybe in a quarterback center exchange if he had that opportunity. But it's interesting, does it make sense? Zach, I'm not sure, but that's the way it is. And
yeah,
that's sort of the way.
You have 4 quarterbacks, you have none, right? I think that was the issue going into the season with the
Browns. I represent the Browns center, Ethan Posick. I should have asked him. I didn't even talk to him about that, and probably was a good idea not to, just based on how the game went. But it was fun being there. And
they had a chance.
Yeah, no, they did, and they played him good, and it was definitely a game.
What was the vibe like when Shedeur went in the field? Pretty electric. They love it.
I thought someone scored. I was in the concourse. I think I went to the bathroom or on the phone call or something, and then someone had said, "Oh, the Shedor's in." That's why people were going crazy for it. So you see the signs around, and people are excited, and the name and all the hype that comes with it. And then the whole PR piece on the side. It's so funny from a media standpoint, Zach, like there's clearly people that have agendas that are the haters. And then there are clearly the ones that are so pro him. Someone tweeted out like, he's never taken a snap. When the other person's like, what a joke. Of course he hasn't taken a snap. Like you have all the different perspectives, but like protecting him and then bashing him. It's just a very highlighted situation just because of the draft and obviously his last name.
So polarizing. To your point, Todd, you see on social media, look at the bad throw he made. That's why he was 4 of 16 for 40-something yards. And then a few posts later, you'll have a breakdown of the offensive line because he didn't have enough time to throw. Thus, that's why he incompleted those passes. So you can make a case that, Shedeur didn't have offensive line help in that game against the Ravens. And speaking of the offensive line guys, the Philadelphia Eagles, their stud Lane Johnson, the right tackle. He might not be back in the regular season. They're hoping he gets back in the playoffs. But he could be headed to injured reserve. Matt, what's the biggest challenge when you have to replace a stud right tackle?
Well, it's one thing to have to replace, anybody in that spot, but they've already been struggling up front across the line of scrimmage. Lane's been actually the best part of it, and he has been for a long time. He's one of the great players in your league. So not only do you have to replace this piece that's really, really strong for you, but they've been trying to sort it out in these other spots. And so it becomes, increasingly difficult just from a scheme standpoint. You were having to help on maybe some of these things on the left side and trusting Lane on that right side to be on an island and not have to slide protections or use backs to chip. He's so good in the run game as well. So I think it affects the way you game plan. And I think it affects the way defenses are going to attack them. Different pressures coming from that opposite side to try and attack that side of the line. I think you're going to see it more evened out as we get going. I think it's really difficult to replace tackles. I think on balance, I think it's more difficult to replace guys on the outside than it is to fill a gap at guard center. I just think they're on the island more often. They're one-on-one more often. You can help guards. You can help the center a little bit easier than you can at that tackle position. So I think it's really difficult to do it. I have so much respect for how Howie does it, though, in Philadelphia. And Todd, you can talk about that and kind of dealing with that organization. I feel like they have plans but one of the things I think they do a really good job is building depth on both sides of the line of scrimmage, on the offensive line and on the defensive line. So, I don't think you're going to replace Lane's one of the best to ever do it at right tackle. So you're not going to be able to
consistently. Yes, correct.
Consistently all pro guy. You're not going to replace him with one player. They're going to have to do it with scheme. They're going to have to do it with helping, that position. And I think it's going to be difficult because it's an offense, quite frankly, Zach, it's an offense that hasn't been great, all year. And when you lose one of your best players and you haven't been great, I think it becomes even more difficult to kind of get it going.
As a quarterback, you mentioned, you got to do it with scheme. That's what I was going to ask you. Do you change things up from a game plan standpoint, knowing like, hey, maybe we got to compensate for the fact that we're not as confident with the guy on the right side who's replacing him and all that stuff? And also as a quarterback, does it do anything to you from a mindset standpoint? When you're playing, are you kind of like, all right, I got to really pay extra attention to this right side because now this guy's getting beat a lot more? Or do you just kind of count on everyone? And I know you're going to say next man up, it is what it is, but the reality is sometimes that next man up, isn't the same guy at the same level as an all-pro guy.
I think when the ball is snapped, when you're actually playing the play, when the ball is snapped, you can't overthink that of who's at that spot. You have to trust the 10 other players around you to do their job, regardless of who that is.
At least you're getting your damn head knocked off. You're going to start looking, huh?
I don't think you can. I think as a quarterback, you have to try. Every play's a new play, right? And you have to.
Would you, like I'm saying, Hut, you getting hit. Lane's not there. Before you could sit in the pocket, be comfortable. You getting that ball now and rolling
can't do my job if I'm looking at the right tackle, AD. I can't do it.
I'm talking about just feel reacting, like getting the ball. I'm going to roll out to the left a little bit and get away from this because this guy's having some problems and I've been getting my fucking head knocked off all game.
I think the way you do that is with scheme, right? I think the play calls that come in matter. The way you play, I think, is really difficult to adjust just because somebody's out. I think there's a way you have to play the position where you feel pass rush, but your eyes are down the field. That can't change regardless of who's in there. But
that's an MVP quarterback, though. That's different. He's different. A lot of guys looking. My bad. I'm going to let you talk. Go.
But the one thing I will say is when you're doing this, your plan has to be incredibly detailed. The level of detail in these type of plans when you have certain guys out has to be on another level. So we'll go as far as we might run slide protections only one way, and we'll figure out how to work the passing concepts, the routes around how we're going to protect. We're going to start there. We may have half our game plan that are one-way calls, right? So we'll go into this and say, this is a left hash only call because it puts our tackle in a position to be successful. This one is only a right hash only call, and we're only going to run it this way because we can help on this side. And I've done that, and I think most good football teams do that at different times in the season when you have to help guys in certain positions. And so the level of detail during the week has to go through the roof. You have to be prepared to be able to protect them, and your whole plan has to be filtered around doing that and considering the other side too, right? Of where is our biggest weak link? They might look at it and say, you know what? We like our right tackle. We still feel like we got an issue over there on the left side, so you still have to protect that side. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, but I think your mindset shifts, AD, to everything we tailor our plan around is to protect maybe this one area, but when the ball snapped, you have to go play football the way you know how.
And the opposite is true, right, for you, AD? Like, I mean, if you know that they got a weakness because there's a backup playing this week, I mean, are you attacking that? And do you get more fired up than you normally would, knowing that Elaine Johnson's not there, who might give you a little more difficult time? I mean, you're
gonna be fired up, but for sure, through the week, your defense, you're gonna try to find on matchups, right? You watch the film. Okay, we know this guy's struggling on this right side tackle. Lane's gone. This backup tackle's having problems. How can we find a matchup with, say, if I was playing me on this tackle, like get some different looks to make sure we get this one-on-one with this guy on his backside, so you get the win. So you start building things around that. You try to find the weaknesses on offensive lines and trying to attack it and trying to find on one-on-one matchups to let your the best guys attack and go eat, and that's what it is. But like he said, they gonna find ways to chip and do things to slow guys down. Like if you play like a Myles Garrett with a backup tackle, I'm pretty sure they'll have guys over there finding ways to chip and trying to find ways to slow them down. That's just smart football, because if you don't, we kind of know what's gonna happen, right? Possibly, at least your guys just bow up and just have a day.
Can you rank the most important thing for a quarterback on the positions on the offensive line? Left tackle, guard, center, right guard, right tackle?
I think it starts with your tackles. I do. I think I think it gets overblown, like the protecting the front side or the blind side. Like I think that is overblown. You talk about Lane Johnson. I mean, he's one of the best tackles in the league, and he protects on the front side. He's not a blind side protector. So I think your tackles are the most important. I would say then it becomes, what your scheme is, how you play, whether it's your center who's setting protections for you or getting you in and out of the run game calls. That there's a strong value to that. I think with your guards, with your center and your guards, there's a lot of double teams. I think if you assign value, I think it starts outside, and then depending on how you're built, I think center and guard are somewhere, in the middle of figuring out who's the next most important.
Makes sense. Contract-wise, that's how it's spelled out in terms of highest paid guys the same way.
Yeah, because like he said, tackles is on the island most of the time, right? You might get a little chip, but most of the time that's the one-on-one guys. Inside, like a center, he's a help guy. I feel like, he's going to be the guy that slides to the protection that help them interior guys, them guards. So it's like, and you got that, it's less space to work in interior, so it's covered. They're covered up a lot more than the outside guys for sure, because I talked about this before. Like a tackle can choke down on a defensive tackle, meaning he can chip that and punch that outside pad of that defensive tackle to help close that B gap up with an overslide with that guard. And then you got that cylinder protection coming to help to take that A gap up. So it's a lot more space, a lot more covering guys up to help them and things like that. But on the island outside, you don't got the same kind of, sets and things like that. So it's a little different.
Zach, I will say this. I think it also depends on the construction of your roster too. Like, I think the value of your center probably goes up if you have a young quarterback, where you've got a guy and they're setting a lot of the protections and they're doing that. And right. And so, you might be more willing to have a guy that's a dog if you're playing a young quarterback and a guy who's super sharp and can take some of that weight off of a first, second, or third year quarterback. I played with a guy in Todd McClure early in my career who was the best.
Get him on the show, man. He's a legend.
Todd would be awesome. Todd's incredible. Yeah. But, thinking back to my experience there and him being such a veteran and being around for such a long time, like in my case, I think his value in that type of structure of a roster was far, far more important than the guards. And I love the guards that we have, but the weight he was taking off my plate was significant. So I think there's a ton of factors that you have to consider in that.
Todd's out west in Las Vegas, so he was there to see CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens spend the opening drive of that game on Monday Night Football on the bench. AD, what does that message say? What does it do? Did it mean anything? Obviously, those guys balled out afterwards, but what message was Schottenheimer trying to deliver to those two guys?
Accountability, right? I think that's stuff you want, no matter who you are, how important you are to this team. If you ain't where you need to be at the right time and you ain't doing things the right way, it can happen to anybody. His rules is his rules. They did what they did, but I know when them guys came in, golly, I know Vegas wish they wasn't playing though, huh? Because the Picken and Lamb, they had a day, man. I think Pickens, man, you just get the ball in that guy's hands, man. He's special, He's not an easy guy to tackle. He run hard. He can make you miss. He's just good with the ball, man. So I think Dallas looked good. And let me say something. I know I talked about Dallas defense as being one of the worst defenses.
Hey. I think they took your advice. They tried to change the whole defense.
Man, that Dallas defense looked good, man. On primetime Monday Night Ball, man. I think Quentin Williams was a big piece. He had him a day, man. Was getting after it, man. So I just wanted to show some light to that Dallas defense, man, for picking it up and having one hell of a game, on a primetime stage, man. So my apologies for the stuff I said, fellas. Y'all proved me wrong, man. But let's keep it up. Consistent football is everything. I'm going to tell them when they bad. I'm going to tell them when they good. But now let's be consistent. Let's keep playing like that every single week, man. Y'all got y'all something.
Because I agree with AD. It's about accountability. It's about, setting first-year head coach, right? Like everything you do matters. How we do everything matters.
Yep.
Sending that message when you have guys that miss, particularly when they're impact players like that, and there are no sacred cows. Like everybody's going to be dealt with if you're not all the way in. I think that is so important. And I also think it's extra important because you just brought some other guys in too. We mentioned Quinnen Williams on that defensive side of the ball, and you got this, hey, we're going to be aggressive. We're trying to change this building. We're trying to change the culture of this building. We're trying to do it the right way of setting that tone of it's unacceptable. If you're not going to be all in, if you're not going to do it the right way, there's going to be repercussions. And I think this was maybe the first time, right? This was the first mishap, and maybe it's the second. I have no idea. And it started with one series. But if this continues, like, he's setting the tone. It's unacceptable. And I think that's exactly what you need from your head coach.
That's what you want.
For
That's
sure.
Exactly what you want.
For sure.
AD, we'll strike up the band, get the music playing. You got your defensive player of the week for us?
Yes, man. I think it was a good week of football on the defense side of the ball. I'm going to show some light. I know they lost, but Myles Garrett with another big week. 4 sacks, leading the NFL in sacks with 15. I know it ain't the out and he won it, but, I think he's getting after it, man. I wanted to show some light to that Steelers defense, too. They played great. 2 defensive touchdowns. Eagles defense played great on primetime TV. I think Dean, that linebacker, he was all over the place. They were sending some blitzes. He was getting after the quarterback, affecting him in a big way. And I'm going to show some light to Davis. Big nose tackle. I know he ain't had the sacks or the quarterback pressure, but 3 quarterback batted passes, man. I think that was huge in that game. He affected him in a big way to get after that good Detroit team and slow him down and cause some 3-and-outs and things like that. So I'm going to show some light to him. Obviously, my Rams defense, man. Played against a good Seattle team. Great. But I am going to show some light to Ethan Evans, man. The Rams punter, I think he is a weapon. I think
now we're going on the kicking game. I like it. That's a part of the defense. That's a part of the defense. It was a big 4th quarter punt with like a minute and 30 left. He dropped
in the
it
game.
on the 1?
And landed that on the 1, man. He is a weapon, man. He's a special talent. I just wanted to show some light to my dog, man. Kitchens had 2 interceptions, man. And I talked about the Dallas defense, but my number 1 guy this week, Denver's cornerback McMillan. He had a day, 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 interception, and one of them sacks was a 3rd down sack against Mahomes for them to punt the ball back to that defense, that Denver offense, to be able to drive down for that game-winning field goal, man. So, cop it up for McMillan, man. Hell of a day, big dog. Keep it up, man. Flying around all over the place, in a pass game, in a run game, and even after getting after the quarterback, man. He had a day, man. So let's keep it up, big dog.
Absolutely.
For him. Big win for.
Let's show some love to Burns, too, man. He had him a day, 2 sacks. He's second in the league with sacks this year, right?
I believe that, yes.
Yep. So he's playing some good ball at 13. And we talk about being consistent and playing consistent week in and week out. No matter if he's winning or losing, he's going to beat him. I think he's a talent to have, one hell of a football player. So keep it up, big dog. Keep getting after it.
Good stuff, AD. Matt, we got the clock ready to.
I'm ready. I'm ready this week. I'm on it. All right, the order is going to be AD, Zach, Todd. All right, let's start with AD. The clock is rolling. So you mentioned you were between Pitt, Toledo, and Akron. If we took Pitt off the board, would you have gone to Toledo or Akron?
I would have went to Toledo because my brother was a linebacker there. I would have played with my brother. I always wanted to play football with my brother, so I would have went to Toledo for sure.
I love it. Toledo, you missed your chance. Could have changed the program
forever.
All right, Zach, you're running into people every week. Who's the most interesting person you met at a game this weekend?
I met Quavo again, a legendary rapper for the Migos, and also Brandon Beach, the head of the Treasury for the United States. A pretty powerful man. Fascinating to see him just roaming the sidelines, taking in a beautiful night in the Classic City.
I love it. You never know who Zach's going to run into.
You never
at
know.
These
Brandon
games.
Beach and Quavo, yes.
That's right. Todd, you're always on the road. You're doing these things on the road all the time. I feel like every time we look at you in here, you're sitting in a hotel room going to see some of your players. I'm curious, favorite city to go to when you have to go to a road game?
I love Chicago. I grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
If it's the right time of year, I try to get that to the earlier part of the season.
Prior to Halloween.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. I just love it. Love going back, get to reconnect with friends and that type of stuff and eat my favorite foods and all that. It's a great city, for sure.
I agree. Chicago's awesome. All right, AD, when was the last time? You're always stylish. You look great on game day this past week, but Todd told the story about recruiting you. And I'm curious, when's the last time you wore socks with flip-flops?
Shit, prior to that day I seen, the first time I met Todd, probably. Cause that's
He was
probably
trying
the
to
first
impress
and the
me.
last time.
That was the first and the last time. After you signed with Todd France, there was enough money to get you a better
he fronted him
better
some money and
wardrobe.
it was over.
We upgraded.
got it.
Upgraded for sure.
Aaron and I had to have a talk.
Last one. Zach. All right. We're talking about benching players, and we're going to go over. I'm going to stop it right there at 2-2. But we consider you our head coach here, right? You put together the agenda. You kind of run the show for us. I'm curious. Who are you benching? Are you benching me because I was absent from the group text last night, which was basically like a team meeting for us? Or are you benching Todd, who was the last person to show up to the actual show today? Who's going on the bench this week?
Time out. I was on time, though.
As Mr. France alluded to, I am benching you, Matt, because you did no response to the group chat, no input whatsoever. And Mr. France was on time. He was early, so he was on time. Matt, you're benched.
I would have appealed it.
AD. The meetings start when the head coach shows up, right? In the NFL.
You right.
It doesn't matter what time frame, what time they say. The meeting starts when the head coach shows up.
Right.
That's why we started the show when Todd showed up. There you go.
There we go. Todd's the head coach. My bad.
All of us doing this pod have full-time jobs and things are going on, and you schedule things. And so I was on time. I was good. And Matt, you know what? Right. I knew your no response was you were probably tired from traveling the day before, and that just meant like you'll get it in the morning. I knew you were good.
I was half asleep watching that Monday Night Football game. You said it wasn't much of a game.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a game. All right, let's wrap up here on the Inner Circle Pod. Another weekend where one of our guys is being honored by a team. Raise your hand if you have a celebration in the National Football League. Yeah, that's you, AD. The Rams honoring you. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Bobblehead night at SoFi. What do we got going on there?
Yeah, bobblehead night, showing a little love, obviously. You know, me being the old guy now, retired, man, they going to show some love to me, man. So I'm excited about that. Obviously, going back to, watch my Rams, hopefully beat up on a Tampa Bay team. That's a pretty good team. So Sunday night football, primetime game. So I'm excited about it, man. Pumped up.
They're working hard, man. I mean, we had Stafford on last week. You know, that tribute video is coming. They're going to play the celebration, Matt.
When's this jersey going into the rafters, man?
Yeah, they're coming
I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. We're going to see. Hopefully
it's coming. I promise you that much. It's coming. That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
good luck, gentlemen. A lot of fun here on the Inner Circle Podcast. Todd, safe travels back to Atlanta. AD, enjoy the moment. Matt, get that workout on with Todd this week and push him a little bit. Will you for us?
We'll do, boys.
Much love to all. Thanks for hanging out here on the Inner Circle Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.